Hey everyone, it's Kirk McLean here, and you're watching Clay's Canucks commentary.
Hey Canucks fans, and welcome to Clay's Canucks commentary live, presented to you by Van City Experts Real Estate. I'm your host, Clay Emo Canuck Clay, and this is my Canucks take, all in one take for Tuesday night, November the 11th, Remembrance Day. Today, obviously honoring and remembering all those that have fought so bravely for us in the past for our freedom. And there was a nice tribute at the Canucks game as well. I say that as I realize I'm not wearing a poppy. I had one on my Canucks jersey, so I will put this on right now. There, that feels a little bit better. Thank you for being here. Again, the Canucks lose 5-3 to the Winnipeg Jets. A pretty entertaining game. Was with my friends Manny and Olivia from Columbus. I will talk about that in a second, but let's get through all our pleasantries first. And I'm not streaming vertically. That was an experiment that was doomed to fail yesterday. I don't know. It was actually good that I tried it yesterday, but not doing it tonight. One stream only, so no confusion, and horizontal only. Moderators, do what you need to do to keep this a safe and respectful place. Members, that's legends, Hall of Fame franchise members, thanks for your support. And to everyone else, no matter where you're watching from, with my beautiful neighborhood of Steveston and Richmond, in the city, Lower Mainland province, country, continent, around the world, thank you for being here. You know that I know that you could be doing anything else, watching anyone else, getting ready for work, school, or bed, or all three. But the fact that you are here with me, know how much I always appreciate you and how much I never, ever take you for granted. Thank you for making me your late night stop on Canucks YouTube. This is how you can get involved tonight. You can subscribe to the channel so you get active in the chat section, get notified of my videos every single day. You can like the video, like the fact that we're together, like the fact that I got to go to a game, like the fact that I brought guests to the game, like the fact that Quinn Hughes had 3 points, like the fact that we actually had a lead on this Winnipeg Jets team. But I guess, as you know, we'll probably get into a bunch of things that I don't like as well. But don't make the video one of the things you dislike. Make sure you like the video. It helps me out a lot. You can leave a donation and get the donation train out of the station. Actually, Adam Lee got the donation train out of the station, but you can leave a donation. You can gift a membership like Adam has done. I'll get to that in a second. Thank you, Adam. You can buy your own membership, upgrade your own membership. You can use your monthly membership message. And if you're listening on a podcast platform, you can rate and review. Yrvin doesn't agree with my statement of an entertaining game. That's fine. You can totally respectfully disagree. Not saying you were or weren't at the arena. In the arena, I thought it was the first period was entertaining. Just because there weren't any goals doesn't mean it was entertaining. The second period wasn't as entertaining. I certainly agree with you that, Yrvin. And I thought the third period was entertaining as well. And it has to do with the company that you are with as well. So I did have a good time at the game and in intermissions as well. And I'll talk about all of that in a second as we go. So it was a game where the Canucks lose indeed 5-3. But the more important story is where is the health of Thatcher Demko. But I'll get into all of that as we go. So thanks everyone for being here. Want to start off by recognizing the first donation of the night is Adam Lee, who gifts a membership. So let's give Adam some love in the chat. So Adam gifts a membership, and it goes to Harry Moss. So Harry, back to franchise membership. Welcome back, Harry. And let's give Adam some love in the chat for getting the donation train out of the station. Thank you very much, Adam. Okay, let's talk about tonight's game. So I was there. I was there with my lovely wife, Gail, and then our friends, Olivia and Manny. And as I mentioned on last night's show, they are two of the musicians that were here for our big grade 7 youth rally that I've been talking about for the last couple of weeks. But yes, they fly out tomorrow. They're staying. They came back with Sean and Jacob and Kayla after a night out last night while I was doing my Canucks After Dark and then my open house. And then they're trying to sleep because they got a flight tomorrow, but I don't know how they're going to sleep when they got this guy blabbing in the office for the next hour or so. But we'll make it work. And then I still have my church hour at 1 a.m. tonight. So I'm going to go to about 12 tonight, then do a couple things, get ready for work, and then I will be off to my church for my 1 o'clock prayer hour. So I was with Gail and Manny and Olivia at the game. Olivia grew up in Detroit, so she's been to Red Wings games before. Manny, I forgot to ask him. I'm pretty sure he's been at hockey games before because he certainly knows what's going on. And Manny, actually last year when he was here at this time of year for the big grade 7 rally, he actually bought a Quinn Hughes jersey. So pretty sick. He wears it. He lives in Columbus. He's from LA, and he wears that jersey around, and which is pretty awesome. He wore it to tonight's game, and then on our way home, they're already looking up Columbus versus Vancouver Canucks tickets for January in Columbus. Guess what? He found tickets for $23 US a piece. So 4 tickets for less than $100 US, even with the exchange rate, that's 140 Canadian. That's basically the cost of a lower bowl tonight or 2 upper bowl tickets. So was with Manny and Olivia and Gail. Then my son Sean and his fiance Cheska, they were at the game as well. So they sat down below. And then really quickly was able to see Selena before the game started. She was working concession. I saw Lucas, but I didn't get a chance to say hi. I saw him from afar as I was whipping through the lower concourse. I got to see Parker. And so Parker and I took a picture proving that we are friends outside of Canucks After Dark. So I called it Canucks After Dark at the intermission. So that was during the second intermission. And then during the first intermission, I moseyed out to 316, which is where I was sitting tonight. And I got to see Gerald and his friend Rob, I think his name was. And I saw Rosario and his friend Andrew, which was great. So I got to see all of them. And I got to meet some other people throughout the night as well. But it was nice to hang out with the guys during the intermission. Nice to see Parker during the second intermission. Nice to see Lucas from afar, Selena from up close, and then everyone else in between. So that was my social part of the night. But I guess we should talk about this game and everything that went through it. So I'll break down the goals first, as I always do with the Sedge VC, the Clay Edge Goal Visualizer commentary. And then I will look at the box score, look at some scores, look at some standings. And then we're going to talk about, it's not even an elephant in the room. We're going to talk about our starting goaltender who never, ever seems to be healthy. All right. Sound good? Sounds great. So let's start off by looking at these goals. And remember, I show the goal visualizer, not the replay, so I don't get copyrighted even more than I usually do. So let's get going. Again, the Sedge VC, the Clay Edge Goal Visualizer commentary. Let's start off with the first goal. And it was by Winnipeg Jets 5 minutes in. And it was a bit of a broken play, actually. You have Hronek here, a giveaway by Hughes, and then it actually goes off of DeBrusk as well. So, and then Morrissey puts it towards the net. I think it went off Taves' skate, not a stick. It was so hard to say because Taves was fighting with one of the Canucks defenders. But whether it's skate or stick, I think it was skate. But someone please correct me if I'm wrong. I couldn't even tell from the replay. But yes, fighting with Hronek, and Jonathan Taves scores. And it's Jonathan Taves likes to score on us at Rogers Arena. So 5 minutes in, 1-0. Great pass from Morrissey. Unfortunately, a couple of giveaways. Well, Hughes got pressured there, and then it went off of Jake DeBrusk as well on its way to Morrissey. Then the Canucks tied up. A really nice goal by Sherwood. So here we go. The Canucks get the puck, and it's a nice give and go. Hughes to Sherwood, to Hughes, to Sherwood, and pass Connor Hellebuyck. I really like this goal because Hughes and Sherwood entered the zone with speed. You had Besser and Reichel driving the net. So there we go. Hughes brings it in, drop pass to Sherwood, pass to Hughes, who admittedly I thought was going to shoot here, and then hope that Besser or DeBrusk. But then Sherwood keeps going to the net. Everyone's actually at the net here. And then Hughes drops it back, and Sherwood one-times it past Hellebuyck on the far side. So that goal was nice, and it was only 5 minutes after the Winnipeg Jets goal. So it was 1-1 just 10 minutes into the game. And then less than 2 minutes later, on a Canucks power play, their first attempt was foiled. So that's why Hughes is way back here. Look at DeBrusk just kind of hanging out. Hughes comes with speed, and then DeBrusk kind of sneaks behind, and he puts it short side on Connor Hellebuyck. So really nice play here. Hughes with his second assist of the night already. And then a really heads up play. So Winnipeg is changing all of their penalty killers, and they kind of just forget about DeBrusk here, where all the Canucks guys are back here. Hughes evades one man, and then a nice little seam pass up the middle, like between guys. And DeBrusk, who is picking it up, right? He's very streaky, but he's picking it up. I love this. Comes in with confidence and goes short side. So the first goal went far side on Hellebuyck. The second goal went short side. And I said to Manny, I said, Connor Hellebuyck's generally regarded as the best goalie, if not one of the best goalies in the entire NHL. And we just put 2 goals behind him in the span of 2 minutes. So I was like, we can't waste this, right? It's not like Hellebuyck looks shaky, but we scored on 2 of our first, 5 or 6 shots. And then I was just finishing saying that. And then Demko lets in 2. They might not be his fault, but 2 quick ones. The first one is a power play for the Winnipeg Jets. And this was just, this basically bounces off 3 of the Canucks players touched this one. And this one was very aggravating to see this live. So what happens here? Morrissey puts in the corner, and then Marcus Persson makes a great play here to intercept the puck. And then he's a lefty, so he turns to the middle so he turns right there. That's a nice move. So he could have easily, I think, slapped it or wristed it all the way out down this way. But instead, he passes it to Sherwood, which is a little bit dangerous, but at least Sherwood's got position on Connor. But then Sherwood, instead of look at all this space. Look at all the space here. Instead, Sherwood inexplicably slaps it and it goes back this way. It hits Myers. This is a comedy of errors here. And then look how much space Morrissey has. And Morrissey puts it in past Demko. So 2-2. Demko's fault? Not really. He usually saves those long ones though. So maybe he's already feeling not himself. Because then just 15 seconds later, again, this is not Demko's fault. But you don't like these goals. So again, 15 seconds later, after the Canucks give up a goal in the power play. So you want to have a really good shift. But it's interesting. They got the Abbey line out there with DPD and Bovenlander. So everything seems fine right here. DPD has the puck. But then he loses it. And then it goes from Iafallo to Lowry. And then Tom Bovenlander can't tie up Niederreiter. So Lowry is smart. He puts the puck towards the front of the net. And then Niederreiter just bigger and stronger than Bovenlander is. Verlander's a rookie, remember? And I think this went, did this go skate stick or body skate or body stick? Regardless, Niederreiter gets credit for this goal because it bounces off him once, if not twice. And 15 seconds later, and now Winnipeg has the lead that they don't give up. So then I go to meet Gerald and Rob and Rosie and Andrew during the intermission. And then the tweet comes out that from, I don't know if it's Canucks Army or someone or a couple people noticing. I didn't even know why I didn't notice this. And I was at the arena that Demko was stretching out his lower body during TV timeouts. So that's not good. And then sure enough, the second period starts and it's Kevin Lankinen. No goals in the second period, which was fine. In the second period, the Jets shoot our way, so we were happy not to see any goals going off Lankinen. Lankinen played fine. Obviously, Hellebuyck played fine. The second period was a little bit choppy. So I hear what Yrvin was saying when he didn't think that the game was that entertaining. I thought it was, but the second period was easily the weakest of the third periods, mostly because there were no goals. Then early in the third period, the second half of a Winnipeg power play. This is obviously the backbreaker. So the Canucks, their penalty kill has been quite permissive, especially with pucks going into the bumper. And sure it is right here. Here it is, Connor to Vilardi. But Vilardi, credit to him, a beautiful no-look backhand, roof job. You hate to see backhand shots go in. I don't care if it's from the power play. I don't care if it's a bumper. Am I blaming Lankinen on this? I think this caught Lankinen by surprise because he probably thought that he had support with both Myers and Garland there. But Vilardi, to his credit, wonderful backhand shot, top right corner, and that is the eventual game winner. So 4-2 for the Jets. Canucks make it interesting in the dying minutes. They pull their goalie, and then Petey, actually, let's give him credit here. He loses the puck as he gains the zone, but then he fights to get it back. And then it squirts its way back to Hughes. Hughes comes down, goes up to Petey, and Petey takes a shot that actually gets blocked by, it hits Pionk and falls right in the slot. And Besser, as a righty, and because he was a righty, he's able to shoot this quickly on his forehand off of Hellebuyck's arm. and now it's 4-3. So I like this goal a lot, and it gave us some hope with 90 seconds left. Once again, PD chases his puck. Besser back to Hughes. Hughes back to PD. PD takes a shot off of Pionk, drops to Besser, and Besser puts it in. So 4-3. Improbable, yes, but not impossible, this comeback. But then what I don't like about this play, and it just, we missed it at the end. You know how they scored the 4-3 goal by passing along the point and getting a shot from the point? I don't know if it was Garland or Hronek. This replay doesn't start early enough, but one of these guys, I want to say it's Hronek, but one of them, instead of keeping the puck up near the point and going for a screen and a rebound, they decide to skate it towards the corner, but they lose it. And this is the sucky part. They lose it. So now the puck goes around the boards past Besser, and now there's no support here. Like, look, there are 4 Canucks here in the middle and the left, none on the right. Niederreiter outfights PD for this puck, just bigger player, and then he flips it, and then Iafallo is able to outrace and outfight Hughes. Hronek slashing away, and then the puck goes in the net, and that's it. 5-3 for the Winnipeg Jets. Yes, 5-3 for the Jets. We look at the box score. By the way, before I do that, I want to recognize Windy City Hockey. I know a long time ago he gave me a monthly membership message, so let's recognize that real quick.
Hard.
So shout out to Nick from Windy City Hockey. He's been a member here for 2 months, which is awesome. And he says this: I was going to watch the game tonight for Jonathan Toews, then got busy and forgot since Northern Lights were visible and vibrant tonight in the St. Louis area. So I hope you got to see the Northern Lights. And yes, if you do watch the highlights, you will see a Jonathan Toews goal. Let's give some love to Windy City Hockey. Nick, I love that you're here 2 hours ahead, watching from the St. Louis area, Chicago Blackhawks fan, but still supporting us as a Canucks community. So let's give some love to Nick in the chat. Hello, everyone. A lot of you guys piling in here, which is great. Nice to see you guys. And we're going to talk about Demko in a couple of minutes. Let's talk about this box score first. Who cares about the Jets? Although you see that Josh Morrissey had 3 points, which is good for my fantasy league. By the way, I must have done really well in my fantasy league tonight because I have Morrissey and Hughes. This is the one that I'm winning, actually. This is a year-over-year keeper league, salary cap, so it's good. Yeah, 13 points tonight. Rantanen with 2, Natchez with 1, Hughes with 3, Morrissey with 3, and I dressed Hellebuck over Demko. Sorry, but Hellebuck gets 2, and Jeremy Swayman got 2. Yeah, 13 points. Anyway, enough about my pool. Canucks, here we go. Let's look at the forwards first, and we see that Pettersson had 2 assists. We see that DeBrusk, Sherwood and Besser had goals. Weird. No other forward had an assist. Well, Hughes had 3 of them, and PD had the other 2. There we go. So only 4 forwards count points tonight in Besser, Pettersson, Sherwood, and DeBrusk. And maybe you include Garland, and those are your 5 best forwards. Well, Kane's been good. Kane got 21 minutes. PD had 24 minutes, a lot of, because he kills penalties and he's on the power play. So PD and Garland had 24, and then Kane had 21, most 5-on-5 minutes, I believe. And then low man was Archie Baines, only 5:32, and then Sasson with 9:49. Besser had 5 shots. Sherwood had 4. Evander Kane had 8 shots. Didn't Kane have like 10 shots a couple nights ago? So Kane continued to have a lot of shots on net. Blocks, only 1 for PD, which is still good. 1 for Reichel, 1 for Kane. And then hits. You had 8 for Sherwood. There was a couple of games ago where he only had 1 hit credit. So maybe he got mad. He gets his average back. So 8 hits for Sherwood. On D, a bunch of zeros across the board, but you see Hughes with 3 assists. Also plays 28 minutes. Herman plays 24. I do like the fact that Verlander and Pettersson played more than 10 minutes. It was 13 and 14 tonight, which is good. And then 4 shots for Hughes, 5 blocks for DPD. Very impressive. Another 3 for Verlander. So that rookie pairing, 8 blocks between the 2 of them. Very good. And then not a lot of hits, though, given by Vancouver Canucks. They had more shots on goal. Not so good in the faceoff circle. Horrible penalty kill, decent power play, but only 2 power plays compared to 4 for the Jets. And then they had more hits than the Jets as well. Jets had more block shots. And then you see, here's the big one that we're going to all focus on, I think. Demko plays only one period, only makes 5 saves out of 8. And then Lankinen comes in, and the only goal that beats Lankinen, because there's an empty netter, the only goal that beats him was that backhander by Velarde on the power play. Yeah, it's interesting. I thought about Quinn Hughes. He had 3 assists. He had 4 shots. I still think he's forcing it a little bit, but I would take a forcing Quinn Hughes over a not trying or a complacent or a frustrated Quinn Hughes. So I think Quinn Hughes, the last 3 or 4, ever since the Columbus game, so the last 3, Columbus, Colorado, and Winnipeg, I think Quinn Hughes has been really good, really noticeable. He still tries to force things a little bit, like I just said, but I think he feels like he has to as the captain and as far and away the best player on our team. So I was fine with Hughes' game. Wasn't fine with his body language after the game as he did his post-game interview. and then I think it was Gemma Carson-Smith who asked him a question about Demko. She even said something like, I know this seems like a silly question, but what does Demko mean to the team? And then Hughes basically just said, I've answered this before. And that was his answer. So he wasn't very, very forthcoming with his answers tonight. Lankinen, love his battle. The questions to him were more about, are you ready to play all these games, step in? And he goes, yeah, I'm ready. Yeah, I want to play as much as I can. Obviously, he doesn't want to see Demko hurt, but Lankinen is a gamer. And he hasn't had the best season, but tonight he was fine. Look at that, 952 save percentage. So I think if Demko is going to be out for any extended period of time, which it sounds like he is, I'm confident in Lankinen that he can get back to where he was last year. The Canucks, we had no choice, right? The Canucks need him to be that way. And then Adam Foote did talk about the breakdowns, the 2 power play goals, one of them with the giveaway that we've kind of gone over. Sean just walked in the door. And then that whole Marcus Pettersson to Sherwood to Myers debacle off of Myers. It wasn't Myers' fault. And then the nice backhand power play goal by Velarde. And there are 2 power play goals. That's the difference in the game right there. So Adam Foote does say they do have to clean that up. He didn't have an update on Demko. Glad that Hughes came back into the game. And then Teddy Bluger, even though he was it looked like he was getting back on to health, probably not going on this 4-game road trip, which is or 3-game road trip, which is pretty crazy now because it looked like he was going to be the next man up, but he did not practice today, whereas Mancini and Lekkerimäki did practice today, and they were not in non-contact jerseys. They're in regular jerseys. So it looks like Mancini could be available, although Verlander's played fine, and you definitely want to get Lekkerimäki in for his offense. And if Lekkerimäki comes in, I think Baines comes out, maybe... Baines would come out. Maybe you can't bring O'Connor out really. I think Baines or Carlson would be the 2 likely candidates to come out of the lineup. Okay, almost done. Scores now. Boston beats Toronto. That's my Jeremy Swayman 2 points. The Kings win. Stars win. Capitals win. Flames lose. Good. Sharks win. What? Ducks lose. Good. Colorado's so good. We lose and the Kraken lose, but they get a point. So in the Pacific Division, we had the Kings and Sharks getting 2 points. We had the Kraken getting 1 point, and we had the Canucks, Flames, and Ducks not getting points. So you look at the standings. I know at the first period, Rosie says, intermission says, if we win, we in the wild card spot, but obviously not. So with the Pacific Division, Anaheim lose, but they are still the class of the division. LA and now is in second. Okay, put your hand up, and no one's going to put their hand up. If they had, 1/5 into the season, the top 3 in the Pacific were going to be Anaheim, LA, and Seattle, and San Jose. It's almost like, except for Calgary, it's reversed. Like I thought it was going to be Vegas, Edmonton, and Vancouver as the top 3, but it's Anaheim, LA, Seattle, and San Jose, which is absolutely crazy. Although I'm sure Chardell's very happy. The good thing is we're only 1 or 2 points away from third with a couple games in hand. So because of how mushy this is, we're not out of it yet, but we can't really give up too much more. And you look at the wild card, and we're only 2 points out of a wild card spot, but we have all these teams to to jump over. Okay, that was there. Perfect. Half an hour. That was my quick recap of the game. Now I can go to all of your comments and questions. And one word about Thatcher Demko, and then I'll do my mid-show sponsor, and then I'll turn it over to all of you. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, and I don't get upset that the Canucks are lying to us. They might not be the most forthcoming with information, but they don't flat out lie. Like that would be a complete loss of integrity. And I don't think that the Canucks doctors are bad. I don't think that they started Demko tonight when they shouldn't have. We don't know what his injury, what his issue was prior. We don't know if his groin injury was an aggravation or re-aggravation of what kept him out over the weekend. But it's just an unfortunate situation. I know people are looking at, 3 years at 8.5. What a waste of money. Yeah, I really like Demko. I want him to succeed. We need him to succeed. But this is not a good look for him. It's not a good look for the team. And it's just unfortunate because as much as they battled without Hughes and Besser and Garland in the lineup, you have no Demko, and it completely changes the face of this team. So I would love your thoughts on it. I've already seen some of the comments. People aren't very happy, and I don't know how you can blame Demko himself. And maybe just one of those guys. It's unfortunate though. Like it doesn't mean we give him a pass. He's not trying to get injured on purpose, obviously, but unfortunately there is a bit of history and a bit of a pattern here for sure. Let's start off by thanking my primary sponsor, and that of course is Jason Lim of Van City Experts. Thank you to my channel sponsor, Jason Lim of Van City Experts Real Estate. At Van City Experts, their experience, knowledge, and expertise can serve you well in navigating through the real estate market and will help you to choose the best home or condo in the greater Vancouver area that best suits your and your family's needs. Thank you to my secondary sponsors, Gassy Jack Art. You can check them out at gassyjackart.com, maker of this wonderful artwork that you see surrounding me. Mulligan Golf Company. Purchase your golfing accessories and apparel at mlgngolf.com. And thanks to my supporting sponsor, Vessi Footwear. Use the link tinyurl.com/VessiClay and receive a free pair of socks off your next purchase of Vessi shoes. Thanks to everyone who's purchased Canuck Clay merch. You can do so at canuckclay.threadless.com. Reminders how you can get involved tonight. Subscribe to the channel, like the video. You can leave a donation. You can gift a membership like Adam has done. You can buy your own membership. You can upgrade your membership. You can use your monthly membership message like Windy City Hockey has done. And if you're listening on a podcast platform, you can rate and review. Don't forget my shows this week. It's good. I remember yesterday's open house was tentative and we made it through. Tonight's show was tentative and we made it. Tomorrow, for sure, member stream at 11. And then we end off the week, CCC, Thursday at 11. And I'm still toying with my 7:45 to 8:15 morning show idea. If I did that, I would start it probably in a week or two or closer to December. All right, before we get going, I'm going to look at the fictional leaderboard. And I look at that leaderboard, not a lot of movement today because of so far only one membership gift, which is fine, and one monthly membership message, which I'm grateful for. So Fangirl in the lead with 600. And then we have Swervin Yrvin with 300. And then who's Ripper Richie? Ripper Richie, Simon and Adam tied for third with 150 experience points. Morning stream, vertical stream. Yeah, then I got to set up a completely different look. But it would be different for sure. And then it would help with the algorithm as a YouTube short, whatever it may be. Okay, friends, let's go. Would love your comments. Yeah, Irvin, I would do YouTube for morning stream as well because YouTube is still by far my biggest audience, my bigger reach. Rosie likes the idea of a morning show. Yeah, the only two negatives would be number one, going against Halford and Bruff, but whatever. I'm not afraid of a little competition, and I'm sure they're not afraid of me. And number two, I'm not a morning person. So it would mean me committing to getting up at 7, getting ready for work for 40 minutes, and then basically coming down, doing my show for half an hour, and then getting out the door so I can get to work by 9 o'clock. Clay, why do I get a bad feeling Demko is going to be out to 6 to 8 weeks? do you think my gut feeling is correct? I have no idea of knowing, but I think it's going to be a bit more than day to day. So I have no reason to doubt your gut feeling. I hope you're wrong, fangirl, for the sake of the Canucks, but you could very well be right. IG, I tried to keep my Canucks stuff off of Instagram. I philosophically, YouTube and X, Twitter are for my Canucks stuff. Facebook and Instagram are for my personal stuff, faith, family, ministry. And then I don't use TikTok. My kids don't let me on it for sure. Who is YVR Canucks fan 365? Whoever it is, I am grateful for you.
3, 2, 1.
I got to give some props. So firstly, let's give YVR Canucks fan 365 some love in the chat for the $10 donation. Thank you, YVR. Secondly, YVR says, good to be back. No hard feelings about last night. So if you remember, actually, I have 2 apologies because I'm a humble guy sometimes, but I certainly can admit when I make a mistake. Before I get to YVR, I said something at the end of last night's open house that totally came across the wrong way. I know that because even when I said it, I was like, oh, Clay, that doesn't sound good. I am not blaming anyone or singling anyone out last night for going on too long, for rambling. But there are people that when they come on the open house, some people are shorter and to the point. Others go on for 3, 4, 5 minutes. And I don't like to interrupt because I think it's rude. But what I was internalizing, but maybe didn't communicate so eloquently, was I need to do a better job of moving the show along, and admittedly not be afraid to cut people off because you hear it on talk radio all the time. They'll actually just jump in, and I could simply press the remove button. I don't want to do that, but I did recognize there's a bit of discrepancy sometimes between people who try and get to the point and then say, okay, I'll let you go, versus people that are able eloquently to speak for 3, 4, 5 minutes at a time. So that's just the way I just got to manage the show better. But that I didn't mean to make anyone feel bad last night. Not that anyone reached out to me, but it was just more of an observation that when I do the open houses, I'm still tweaking. I'm still finding the perfect formula for those open houses. There. The other one is YVR Canucks fan left a comment, and it was an innocent question, but I didn't get defensive, but I actually felt bad. I thought that I had ignored one of his previous comments when I believe, or he or she, but I believe YVR was simply asking it for the first time. So the way I read the comment, I misinterpreted it. And then YVR Canucks fan, to his or her credit, actually then commented on the live stream saying, no, you didn't ignore my comment. It was the first time I was asking, or something to that effect. So props to you, YVR Canucks fan. I'm glad you don't have any hard feelings. I certainly don't have any towards you because you don't deserve any. And I'm glad that you don't have any towards me. It was me trying to interpret something where I should have simply asked for clarification. Okay, so those are 2 long-winded explanations, but I am the master of long-winded explanations. Rosiero says, I'm too old for TikTok. Yeah, my kids think I'm going to break it or something, so they don't let me have it. How many people were at the game? Usually, the usual 18,000 plus. Was it a good crowd? It was okay. I think obviously they were live. The Larshiders were there, so they were doing the who's your daddy chants. Kiefer Sherwood, Connor Garland, ref you suck. So I thought the crowd was okay. It wasn't as vibrant, say, as when the Rangers or Oilers or Maple Leafs or Canadiens come, but there's certainly some Jets fans. You heard it. True North. I had to explain to my visitors that's the parent company of the Jets. That's why it was so loud. But overall, I thought the crowd was okay. Minus 150 for Canucks to not make the playoffs. So that means if you bet 100, you get 150. Wait, is that right? Yeah, because plus 150 means you have to bet 150 to make 100. So if anyone wants to bet the Canucks not to make the playoffs, you can make $50, I guess, is what you're saying. Clay, people first Yukon. Hello, people. Clay, could we join you sometime? Who are you? I don't know who you are. Or maybe I do. I just can't tell from that avatar. It looks a little blurry. Maybe you're concealing an identity. No, I don't know. Yeah, you can. Are you talking about it on an open house or as a guest? I need more context. You're the GOAT. You're the GOAT, YVR, because you donated, even though I insulted you. I didn't insult you yesterday, but thank you. Thank you for being so understanding. Hey, Justin, what are your thoughts on the PK? It's very bad. It is very bad. It's league worse. Oh my gosh. Remember, it wasn't 2 or 3 years ago? It was like almost heading towards a record-breaking low. I think, and I asked this to someone in the open house yesterday, it's a combination of structure and personnel. Last year, Teddy Bluger, Pia Suter, the first two forwards over the boards, right? And we don't have Suter anymore, obviously, and we barely had Bluger. Derek Forbert, he was a good penalty killer. Dakota Joshua, inconsistent last year, but he was a decent penalty killer. So that's 4 players, right, that kill penalties for us that haven't done it this year either at all or very much. They got to fix it, because if you're afraid to take penalties because your penalty kill is bad, then you're going to be very permissive at 5-on-5. And that's a recipe for disaster as well. You become permissive. The perfect formula is the penalty kill improves, and you're only taking 1 or 2 minors a night, not 4 or 5. Because obviously, given the statistics, 4 or 5 power play opportunities for the other team, the way we're going, that's 2 goals now, right? Whereas if you only give 1 or 2 opportunities and your power play is better, then that should be 0 goals. Like 2 goals is a lot worse than 0 goals, especially when we lose 2-goal games. So what are your thoughts on the PK? Justin, it's horrible right now. And I think it's a combination of both structure and personnel. I think rarely do the shots from the point go in. I think they got to do a much better job of taking away cross ice passes and passes into the bumper. And I know it's hard. You're playing against the 5 best players on the other team, so I get it. I know it's hard, but they got to fix something. Yes, the Kings did beat Montreal today. John says it's okay, just cut them off when they ramble. I do think I have the rights, and I definitely have the ability to do it. I just gotta do it. And Fangirl, this is actually something I'm going to do. I'm going to give everyone 2 or 2.5 minutes, set the timer on the phone, make the alarm really loud, and then that's an objective way of doing it. But I got to do it nicely, right? But I do agree that a timer would make it more accurate for sure. For sure. Thank you. I appreciate you, Rosie. Oh, you win 150 off 100. Gotcha. Yes, I see that you are People First Yukon, because that's the name of your YouTube tag as well. But I just wanted more clarity on what you mean by "can I join you sometime?" During Coach Green's last days, we had a historically okay. It's under him, not Boudreaux. Interesting. Should we blame Foote for the way the special teams are? Well, he has to shoulder some of the blame because he is the head coach. The buck stops with him. The puck is supposed to stop with him as well. But he has, usually the guy who runs the forwards runs the power play, and the guy who runs the D runs the penalty kill. So it's not just Foote. Do you think Hoglander is more likely to return in December or January? I have no way of knowing. If I had to get, they said December, so then I'm saying January. EPD and O'Connor's were so penalties. I think you're saying, Connor, were so unnecessary since they were taken shortly after we scored. Yeah, they gotta smarten up a little bit for sure. Is it over-aggressiveness on the PK that is causing seams for teams to attack us on? I just think the teams scout the PK well, and as soon as you overload one side, then the PK has to make a decision, right? Do you go man on man? Do you go zone? And I just think there's too many. I don't know if it's over-aggressiveness, Yrvin, but definitely there's some gaps in the Canucks coverage that really cause everything, and teams are getting really good at exploiting those gaps. Myers and Marcus Persson aren't doing well. You mean on the penalty kill or just overall? Yeah, they're up and down for sure. So Connor says too much puck watching and not man marking. That's fair. Right now, coming into this game, there were 6 guys injured. Hoglander, Lekkerimäki, Hedel, Bluger, Mancini, and Forbert. And now you can add Thatcher Demko to that list. Do you think Kiefer Sherwood not being extended is due to being a trade chip during the deadline if the Canucks keep losing more games? Yeah, Jaskamal, I think he's not Quinn Hughes. He's not Thatcher Demko, even though he's just as valuable as those guys this year. Because of the stature and his age, even if the Canucks were doing awesome, I don't think he'd have an extension right now. Because with Kiefer Sherwood, you worry about a bit about his age. He's been great. Like, I love him, right? But he's a bit older. He plays like a very tough game with all his hitting. And, 11 goals is awesome. It's amazing. It's leading the team. But you still want to make sure it's not a fluke. Like you might be saying to me, Clay, it's not a fluke. Look at him. He's good. And he had 19 last season. He has 30 goals over the past year and a bit. Yes, I agree with all that. But I do think, like I said, even if the Canucks were really good, top of the division, I still don't think he would be extended. I think this is a guy where you kind of wait. There's no rush. There's no rush because he can't go anywhere before July 1st, right? But the fact that the Canucks are bad and they could, Cam Robinson was talking on Securities Price. He thinks they can get a first rounder for him. He thinks at the trade deadline, not now. He thinks that Evander Kane could fetch a second rounder and Bluger could get a third or fourth. So to answer your question, I definitely think it's part of their strategy is to wait for sure. Hey, Carol. No, I'm not saying who it is and who it isn't, but you certainly don't need to apologize. Let's put it that way. Bruce was the first coach to try PD and Quinn on the PK. Gotcha. Do you think you will see a Canucks practice facility being built in your lifetime? In my lifetime, yes. But I'm hoping that I live to past 100, right? How is your hockey pool going right away? I'm winning my mom's work one. I'm in 4th in my church auction pool, and I'm winning my keeper pool, as I talked about. The amount of penalties we take is ridiculous, and you add that up to the fact that we don't have a good penalty kill, and it's a recipe for disaster. I don't know how to cook. I don't know much about making food, but I do know what a recipe for disaster is. You know what's not a disaster? When Dino comes in with his dono. So let's give some love to Dino with his nightly dono. Dino and Mother Mena, $28 donation. Thank you, Dino. I don't even have to look it up. I know that shoots him up to the top of the leaderboard with 1,075 experience points. Thank you, Dino and Mena. Let's give some love to them in the chat for their generosity. Always. Always, always, always. Where was I? Oh, here is where I was. I don't know if people at the arena knew that the monitors stopped working, so they turned off the Canucks monitors. Oh, you mean at the bench? I did not know that. I said it earlier. We should have gone after Peter Laviolette. His resume as head coach is very impressive. Won Stanley Cup with Carolina. Yeah, I like Laviolette. He's tough. He's old school. C Edits is here. Nice to see you. Thatcher Demko was never really off the list. Well, actually, I never really added him to the injured list, to be honest with you. I feel Sherwood can fetch you a first rounder. You do it. I do too, as much as I like him. How can I can't say the guy's name. Peter Laviolette. Laviolette took the Flyers and Preds to the finals and won the President's Trophy with the Rangers and won the Stanley Cup. Yeah, he's got a good resume. McKinnon has 12 in last 3, 22 in last 10. How is he so good? I remember when we used to look forward to rookie EP 40 versus McKinnon matchups. 22 points in the last 10 games. Yeah, he's blown past Bedard and Celebrini in this scoring lead. Good stuff. Go Utah. Adam says, trade everyone. Adam says, burn this team. Connor likes McKinnon's confidence and says, with Petey, you just don't know what you'll get with him. Thought Petey's game was a little uneven tonight. I do like how he had 2 assists. I do like his effort. Couple giveaways, missed the net once early in the game. Thought he was okay. When you're on, you're talking about Carroll? Yes. When do you think you're going to get back something? Well, I won't get them back, Simon, but I think the Canucks will. It looks like Mancini and Lekkerimäki are the next up, but I'll believe it when I see it. Do we think we need to make a trade for the Canucks? I do think, yes, in theory, but our bargaining position is not very strong right now. Do you think the Canucks need a new coach? No, I'm not going to lay the blame on Adam Foote. He hasn't been awesome, but he hasn't been poor. You just look at all the injuries that he's had to go through. Go-to meal, carved sandwich. Carved sandwich is my go-to meal. Rosie, my next 24-hour live stream will be next October. I only do it once a year because it takes a lot out of me. Yes, I think it's a great point by Swervin Yrvin. Can any coach this roster to win? All you men in the CCC crew, please get on the next plane and play on the Canucks. I have not seen the menu prices at Coliseum. Is it good or bad? They'll play 100% when they are confident the coach knows what he's doing. Interesting. Canucks didn't send Patera down to Abbey. Do you think it's because they just wanted the extra goalie round, or was he the E-bug? I don't think he's the E-bug, but yeah, I think with the amount of injured players, they could afford to have Patera on the roster, and maybe that was good thinking. Not that it mattered, right? He didn't get in the game, but yeah, I don't know the motivation unless they wanted to make sure Demko could get through tonight's game, and obviously he didn't. I think EP40 has to go. This is supposed to be his comeback year. Who would you target if you traded him to get a strong second line center? Well, this is tough, right? He's got a no movement clause. So he'd have to agree to waive it, but maybe he would to go to a contender. You know, who would I target as a second line center? There's a lot of guys that I could just name, but I don't know if they'd be available. Yeah, and are guys like Middlestead and Zaka, Wenberg, are they actually needle movers? Ryan O'Reilly, he's got one more year left in Nashville, but I heard he might not want to come to Vancouver. I'd have to really think about this one, but I think the discussion about trading PD is almost, I just don't know how realistic it is because of the full no movement. It looked like Demko was wincing a lot during TV timeout. Edmund, they're saying it's his groin, not his knee. Anaheim, Coach Quenneville's resume, and they're fully confident in him. Yeah, they're great this year. Yeah. DeBrusque, Besser, and Kane are all streaky. That is fair. Yeah, I think it's going to be Patera is going to be his backup, Shannon. I think so. Edits, how do you feel about the parody so far? We're seeing the league right now in November with the standings and teams. Definitely what Bedman wants in the league as he prefers it. Yeah, there's you know, and we'll see what happens when the actual cup finals, because obviously when the playoffs come along, because Florida's kind of struggling, but we know they're going to be there at the end when they get all their injured players back, Barkov and Kachuk. You know, it's funny. I like the parity this year because it means the Canucks, despite their bad record, they're one game under 500. They're only 2 points out of a playoff spot, right? So it's advantageous to the Canucks, but the proof will be in the playoff pudding, so to speak. O'Connor can get 12. I agree. Total appeal, perhaps. If we don't sell players like Kane and Sherwood, would you draft with those picks or quickly flip them for impact players or do a bit of both? If we don't sell players like Kane and Sherwood, would you draft with those picks? If we don't sell them, would you draft with those picks or flip them for impact players? So I think you're asking, if we don't sell players, so we let them walk as free agents, would you draft with those picks? I don't think I understand the question fully, but I'll lay out the scenario. If you trade them, you get picks. If you don't trade them, then you don't have enough. You're kind of still stuck, right? You have to either accumulate a lot more picks and prospects and embrace the rebuild, or you're not going to improve. Like it's just, the more people I hear talk about Quinn Hughes' situation, they think that he's as good as gone. Yeah, Reichel was invisible tonight, like truly invisible. I didn't see if there's an actual play or if there's wear and tear. I thought I saw them go pull his groin. I'm not sure who you saw pull his groin. I'm just kidding, Carol. I don't think it's appropriate that anyone pulls his groin, but no. I've heard from a couple. Actually, I don't know who I heard it from first, but people were saying that it's his groin for sure. eBug have a funny life. They usually sit in the audience. You could walk past them. You'd never know it. That's true. It might have been me tonight, but I wouldn't tell you guys. Prediction for the record for Vancouver. Yeah, they're going on a road trip. So, Simon, I can't really change my prediction. I did say they were getting 97 points. That's not looking too good right now. Hey, Pauline. Happy birthday. I got to greet Pauline at the game. It's Pauline's birthday today. I was going to say the age, but I probably shouldn't. Do you think Lankinen will still be the starting goalie in the next road game if Demko is still out? It'll be his 4th game straight. Yeah, I do because, Pauline, firstly, happy birthday. Secondly, the game isn't until Friday, right? So there's an extra day in there. Yeah, I could see, and Lankinen at least is talking like he can handle it and he's ready for it. So I do think it's going to be Lankinen on Friday. Freeman says Canucks don't want to trade Coots and don't want to trade their first unless it's for a center return. Are you afraid of that happening, or would you rather continue as is and keep the pick? No, I think, Justin, if they're gonna embrace rebuild, they got to keep these picks, right? No more giving away picks for sure. Thomas Mancini's comment last night about the team constantly just raising the floor and not the ceiling really resonated for me. Yeah, no, Thomas is a bright guy and I like him a lot, obviously. And I trusted him and Nathan to come on first on the stream. But Thomas is admittedly not a Canucks fan. He's a huge soccer fan. That's what we talk about sometimes. But he's a bright guy. And I do agree with you, Swervin Yrvin. It was almost like a casual, not throwaway comment, but he kind of said it. But it was strong. It was strong. Raising the floor and not the ceiling. That's a really good, accurate visual for sure. Simon, I'm not sure what you're asking. Predictions of the farm team. Do you mean record or do you mean players? Either. I couldn't really give you, Simon. No, there will never be talk from management about a rebuild. Definitely not from ownership. And even they skirted around the question on after hours on Saturday night. The Canucks have not given you a call yet about playing in goal. Okay, well, I'll recommend you, Tyler, for sure. Radio was talking about blue selling, Braden Shen, but not yes. I heard about Shen as well. Yeah, sorry, uncensored. I think I butchered your question, so you can ask it. I will definitely answer it a little bit better. If I ever met Francesco Aquilini, what would you tell him? It's easy for me to say. I would say, hey, don't meddle so much, or hey, why don't you go after this guy? But truly, if I'm being realistic and not trying to say something funny just for the show, if I met him, I would just, I probably would say that I'm a season ticket holder for 16 years. I really want to see a winner. And I hope, Francesco, that you'll do anything and everything in your power to give management resources to build a winner. That's what I would say. I'm not going to, honestly, I wouldn't sit there and say to him, stop meddling, or because I don't know if he is. Like, realistically, I'm trying to answer your question as realistically as possible. Maxell, Canucks have a first-round pick at 8, I think, this year. Will they trade for a player? First-round pick at 8. What does a first-round pick at 8 mean? Will they trade for a player? I don't think so. I think that'd be irresponsible for sure. All right, all these Pauline, happy birthdays. That's good. 3-1 prediction. You're welcome. Good to have you, Jordan or Winton or both. Patera is the backup. More birthday greetings for Pauline, which is awesome. Asking Lankinen if he's ready to play more Demko was a really dumb question. Yeah. Yes. I actually, Yrvin, it's funny. I respect a lot of people in the media. I thought the questions were pretty poor tonight. And I get it. I always joke around about how important is it that Demko is 99.9% of the time. The answer is very important always. And I get that these reporters are just kind of asking so the player will say something good or juicy. But I do think the questions were very weak tonight. I was actually watching it right before I went live, for sure. Yes, very easy for Pauline to remember her birthday. Badumch. At this rate, doesn't seem likely for Demko to be considered for Olympics with the injuries. Yeah, absolutely yes, absolutely yes. And up until now, he was doing well. I tell him to sell a team. That is fair. Who are we talking about here? I can't even remember now. Are you honestly satisfied with the results of the team last? Okay, if you had the guts to ask that, that's cool. Canucks will have a first round pick at 8. I don't get it. What does first round pick at 8 mean? Like, are you saying right now they're 8th worst from the team? Yeah, but we don't know. We don't know what the pick is. Sorry, I just don't understand what at 8 means. All right, let's try this again. If the Canucks sold at the deadline to get first and second round picks, would you use them to draft players or flip them for immediate help for impact players? No, I think the fact if you're selling at the deadline, I don't think you're asking, well, would you flip those picks for a player at the deadline? No, you're saying, would you flip them before the draft? I think it completely depends on what they've decided to do. If they're going to actually embrace some sort of rebuild, then of course you keep those picks. But if you somehow get Quinn Hughes to stay and assign an extension or to commit to an extension, then I think you can flip. Yeah, actually, this is interesting. Can you imagine selling at the deadline, flipping those picks for an impact player or two before the draft because you know that Quinn Hughes is going to resign? That would be very interesting. One day we should play a game of wrong answers only with the questions they get. That would be fun, actually. I tell him to get the woman who my sister Carson Duggan coaches. I would tell him to get the woman who my sister Carson Duggan coaches. Wait, your sister Carson Duggan? Or you get Carson Duggan? If the media are going to ask dumb questions, there should be no presser. Don't waste people's time asking something you get ridiculed for. Interesting. Clay Aquilini, Triple C. What's the Triple C again? A woman who's very good in the PWH. Oh, an assistant coach would be great. Yes. Happy Hump Day. DeBrusque seems like the only Canuck really giving engaging. Yeah, DeBrusque. He even jokes around that he talks too much, but I like DeBrusque. I agree with Yrvin. He is a good quote. Maybe 8th overall. We'll see because we don't know where the Canucks are going to finish. And on that note, I am going to finish. It is 12. Got to do a couple things before I get to my church hour. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Moderators, thank you for keeping this a safe and respectful place. Members, that's legendary Lucas Gates, legendary Line Change, legendary Carol Bovenlander, legendary Brian Blingy Choi, legendary Swervin Yrvin, and legendary Andrew Chang. Thank you for your support. And thanks to Hall of Fame and franchise members as well. You've forgotten all about how you introduced me before. Was it Connor Cahill? Hold on, how's that? The Clay Aquilini Triple C. Was it Connor Cahill? Remind me. Thanks to Hall of Fame franchise members as well for your support. And thanks to all of you for watching, liking, and subscribing. On your way out, like the video, subscribe. You can leave a late donation. Thank you to my sponsors, Advanced City Experts Real Estate, Gassy Jack Art, and Mulligan Golf Company. Thanks to everyone who went above and beyond today. Adam, gives a membership. Windy City Hockey, member for 2 months. Superfan, YVR Superfan, $10 super sticker. And Dino with the massive dono, $28. Add it all up. And the winner of tonight's fictional leaderboard is Dino with, guess what? 1075. Fango with 625. YVR Canuck with 575. Swervin Yrvin with 375. And then a bunch of people tied with 150. No problem, YVR. Appreciate. Oh, the double C. That would make sense. Because Connor Cahill. Yeah. Thanks, everyone. Don't forget, tomorrow night is a member stream at 11 p.m. So I look forward to you. It is, if I continue my alternating schedule, it is open house. So a members open house tomorrow. That should be a lot of fun. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow night at 11. The Canucks lose 5-3 in a relatively entertaining game. Relatively. But more importantly, we will find out hopefully soon what the status of goaltender Thatcher Demko is. Thanks, everyone. I realize that you could be watching anyone else do anything else, and I appreciate that you spent some time with me tonight. As always, stay safe, stay healthy, take care of yourselves, and take care of each other. And I think I may have used this one before, but I don't care. I like it. I'm going to use it again. NASA is launching a satellite to say sorry. To say sorry to the aliens. Yes. I guess we're giving them a hard time. NASA is launching a satellite to say sorry to the aliens. They are calling it the Apollo G. The Apollo G. God bless. And go Canucks go. Booyah.